Hi my gorgeous ladies, this is Manjari Biswas and today I'm going to show you a beautiful look. Here she is wearing a red kanjivaram, and when you wear a red kanjivaram or a red Banarsi, you look so classy. And when we think of Indian look, we cannot think anything but red. And with a red kanjivaram or a red Banarsi, if you have dark gold eyes, you can never look wrong. The makeover will never go wrong. However, I have experimented a little bit and it turned out as usual very, very pretty. I've added some glitter. So without any further ado, let's keep watching. And here also notice that I'm holding the brush. I'm holding it very close to the nozzle because I want a good control over the brush. And also notice how I held the brush. I laid it flat on her lid. So first I drew and then I added more color and then I'm patting it so that it dries up. So these are like small techniques that you should know, and most importantly you should have a complete knowledge of your brushes and their right uses. In case you do not have, then that is something that you need to work on, because brushes are your best friends, and if you do not have one good knowledge, then you need to practice. As you can see here, I am using Huda Khatan's Glow Wish bronzer. I was using it for the first time, I think, or maybe the second time, but before I say anything, I want you to notice the brush and where I'm holding the brush. It is fairly in the middle. It's in the middle, if not very close to the nozzle, because I want a diffused look. And this is actually called the transition color because it transitions. It's a transition shade, which means that it's a shade that takes from the dark to the light. So it's like a bridge. So that's why when you use transition color, you should always use a fluffy brush. I think I was using a MAC fluffy brush, and I'm just using a dark color on all over her lid, a brown lid. And of course I have the transition color, but don't forget that you have to keep using the colors as and when required. So here's where I'm using the glitter, but I do want to tell you here that this is a very basic application of glitter. But if you want to check how well and how differently glitters can be applied in different ways of doing it and different looks, high-end and high-fashion looks, then I would suggest that you check out my Instagram, which is also Manjari Biswas, and there you will find a lot of work and a lot of techniques that's been done. But this one is a very simple one. It's not even a cut crease, it's just soft application of glitter, which also looks very pretty on anyone. Now notice here that I have changed my brush. So for a very precise application, you need to hold the brush very close to the bristle, and you must change a brush which has a more finer tip. So because I'm working on the outer corner and I'm also doing a half C or a C shape on the outer corner, just to add a little bit of depth, therefore I've changed the brush. Now this is something that I want to tell you, is that instead of black, you could also use a dark brown color. Some very good dark brown cool tone colors look very nice on the outer corner. So if someone doesn't want like very loud eyes or very dramatic eyes, then go in for dark browns instead of blacks. Now if you know me well and if you've been following my work and if you've seen my pictures, then you will also know that I am a big fan of black eyebrows. So as you can see, I'm straight away drawing her eyebrows with a black gel liner, but I would suggest that all freshers and people and artists who are not very confident or are a little scared, please do not try this. Use a dark brown eyeshadow instead of a black gel or a gel liner. Because with eyeshadow you always have the scope, you always can go back and erase it, but when you're using a black gel liner, you have to be really confident about it. And something that I also want you to know is the brush that I'm using. A lot of artists do use flat brush, but I prefer using angular brush and not a very wide brush. You can use a wide angular brush if only you're very confident, but if you're a fresher and if you're a beginner, then I would suggest that you start with a narrow angular brush. And angular brushes are mostly synthetic because they are meant for products which are creamy and liquidy in nature and not powdery. I'm using a Krylon cake liner, and this can be used with water. However, if you do not have this, you can use any eyeliner. It doesn't matter. I had it handy, so I was using it, and I quite like it. But if you do not have this, then don't worry, because all the eyeliners are very good. So use any eyeliner. And here I'm using a mink lash, because I was otherwise keeping the whole look very toned down. So I wanted a little drama on her eyes, and therefore a mink eyelash here. I'm cleaning her face with wet wipe, and thereafter I followed with my favorite cleanser, which you will see in a bit. And they are very mild on the skin, and they are dermatologically tested. They are absolutely sensitive skin friendly. So I prefer using Cetaphil because it never irritates the skin, and you can always be sure that the skin is well prepped if you're using Cetaphil. So here I am using a Tarte Shape Tape. concealer, which is the most popular concealers amongst all artists. And you will notice that I'm using a brush to blend, but you can also use a blender to blend. So I'm using a fluffy brush to blend, which is synthetic in nature, and I also have a blender handy, so I'm using both, but you can use either one, it doesn't really matter. But if you're using a brush, then hold it far behind and use very fast strokes so that it blends well and it's very light and there are no marks of the bristle. And without taking any more product, with the same brush and with the product that's left on the bristles, I'm just cleaning the sides of the temple, and it just vanishes, it just erases. And once you're happy with the finish, just use the loose powder whichever you have. If you have Laura Mercier, use it. If you have Krylon, use it. If you have Becca, use it. All are absolutely good. It just matters, what really matters rather, is how you're using it. Now please notice how I'm using it. I'm using a normal puff which you get locally. It's an inexpensive puff, and just nicely dab on the skin. You have to use a good amount of loose powder on the face so that it sets your makeup. Your makeup doesn't melt in, especially in the summer season. Pat, pat, pat. That is the motion, that is the stroke that you have to learn, and you keep patting till you're happy with the finish. The foundation at this stage should not feel tacky, it should be absolutely dry. So you keep patting, use very little powder, but you keep patting till you're happy. And don't worry, your face, your client's face will not look cakey, it will not look powdery, only if you have done, or if you've prepped her skin properly. So if you've not skipped that part, if you've not hurried, then I can assure you that the face will look absolutely gorgeous. Well, she looked beautiful in both the looks, be it with the white gel liner or with the dark gold eyes. Although I had first done a glossy look, but later on changed my mind to a matte look, as you can see. and she looks stunning in both. And this was her glossy look. But in case if you have learned anything from this tutorial, then don't forget to subscribe.